kitty cats. How is everybody doing today? I hope you all are well because I am well as well. Um, Sorry this is getting posted so late. It's actually getting recorded very late, quite frankly. It's about 10:30. And I'm sorry I didn't start making this sooner, but I kind of fell down a rabbit hole on YouTube and I couldn't stop watching. And you know how YouTube does one video after the other, after the other, after the other. They just kind of all just roll together. And before I knew it, it was very late. Um, excuse me. So here I am, though. I didn't forget about you guys, and I didn't forget about Vlogmas, and I'm trying really hard um, not to miss a day of Vlogmas this year. Um, Last year got all screwed up because I started Vlogmas and then I got sick and then I went into the hospital and got the diagnosis of the amputations and um, so last Christmas was very, very hard. It was our first Christmas in this house and I had so wanted to decorate the house. It's so pretty and it would have looked so pretty decorated. Um, and our friend Amanda gave us a nice big Christmas tree last year, which I actually didn't get up this year either because it got put in the basement and nobody likes to go down into the basement, so it didn't get brought up. Uh, if it had been upstairs, it probably could have gotten brought down, but nobody wants to go into the basement. There's obvious reasons nobody likes to go down in the basement. um, but we won't go into that right now. So last year's Christmas was really, really hard. I had the amputation in one hospital um, on the 23rd of December. Um, Tony's family celebrates their big Christmas on Christmas Eve. So everybody came to the hospital Christmas Eve, and I do have a video of that. Actually, if you go way back to last year, I've got pretty much video vlogs of my whole hospital and rehab stay. Some of them weren't very nice. Um, but Christmas Day, I was transported from one hospital to the other hospital so they could do the artery bypass on the other leg. And that was done on the 26th. And then on the 28th, I had the other amputation on my foot on the left side. So I guess it'd have to be the left side because I didn't have a foot on the right side by that time. So it was a hard Christmas, and it's really mind-boggling to me that almost a year later, I'm still dealing with non-healing wounds on all three of the surgical sites. Um, so I don't know. But Tony actually has been taking care of um, the three wounds along with wound care at the hospital. But Tony, we don't have visiting nurses anymore. Um, and Tony um, has been doing it. The visiting nurses refused to come back into the house during that time that we had the flea problem, and it was out of control. And so they refused to come back. So Tony's been taking care of them, and the fleas are all gone now, and I could get the visiting nurses back, but Tony takes much better care of them than the visiting nurses ever did. I mean, he really gets in there and cleans them and um, debrides what he can, what he feels comfortable with. Um, making sure that all the dried skin is off, that there's no scabbing that can then create a new wound. Uh, so he's very good. He's very good at it. I wish he would specialize in wound care because he's very good. Um, and he tries to be as gentle as he can. Um, it still hurts. It hurts like hell. Well, guess what? I mean, I have, you know, a 4 by 3 inch wound, open wound on my leg, and he's scrubbing it. Well, of course it's going to hurt. And he's not doing it intentionally, it just is going to hurt. Um, so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I really actually didn't want to come on and talk about all this stuff tonight. I was going to talk about something else, but it seems like my vision for the video has gone awry. Um, and guys, you know, I have been coming on every day, um, doing Vlogmas. And again, sometimes they're late, sometimes they don't get posted till the next day. But I am making the videos on the day. They just may not get edited and posted. Um, you know, and there is a reason for that. I mean, I'm coming on every day. Um, and I'm trying to be as upbeat and as positive as I can be. Um, but some of that is kind of an act because I am suffering right now from um, depression and anxiety. Through the holidays have never been that great for me going into the holiday. Um, Usually after the holiday, I'm like, okay, that was a lot of fun. Back during the time when my family would gather at my home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Um, my anxiety would be through the roof because um, I can be very OCD, and some of the time I um, would get myself very worked up and very anxiety ridden to the point where I would have some panic attacks um, because I am one of those persons who strive, at least I was. I don't know that I am that much anymore, but I strive for perfection and I make myself crazy. If the Christmas tree isn't just perfect, if the decorations aren't just perfect, if the food is not perfect, if the table was not set perfectly, you know, if there was a stray cat hair on anything, um, you know, I would just be mortified. You know, if my family was there and I would all of a sudden look up across the room and notice something that wasn't exactly right. I mean, I would just be mortified. Um, and I'd have to go upstairs and go into my bedroom and you know, do the deep breathing exercise and try to work myself out of it because I have a house full of people that are waiting for dinner. And, you know, and then my anxiety of getting everything done and everything done at the same time so that when I put it on the table, everything is as hot as it can be, as it's going to be, so that nobody gets cold anything on their plate. Um, you know, that's that's some high expectations. Um, you know, but my mother was one of those people who I always saw as pretty close to perfection. Um, you know, her house was always clean, always clean. And it was a big house. And she cleaned it all by herself. You know, she didn't have to. She could have gotten help come in to help her clean the house, but you know, she just didn't. She just did it herself. Um, you know, and holidays when I was a kid, um, Christmas really was about the only time in our house that everybody was happy all at the same time. Um, I don't have a lot of pleasant memories from my childhood, and that had to do with my stepfather, um, who did not like me, and I did not like him. And he made my childhood pretty tough. And looking back on it, it's amazing that I got out of that situation um, with the few mental disorders I have. And I can pretty much pinpoint where most of my, with the help of, you know, um, therapists over the years. I don't currently see a therapist. I probably should. Um, but over the years, the therapists that I've gone to have helped me pinpoint certain times where, you know, traumatic things happened in my life. And, um, you know, I can pinpoint where those crazy where my crazy comes from. Um, you know, being molested as a child, having, uh, you know, thoughts of suicide when you're a child. Um, you know, I remember one time being at the beach and I was in the water and the rest of my family were out under a tree somewhere. And what was going through my head was if I go under the water and just open my mouth and breathe in, I will drown. And then they'll look up and see me floating face down in the water. And won't that teach them? I mean, obviously, I never did, but those were the thoughts that went through my mind as an as early as 9, 10 years old. Um, and that's sad. That's really sad. Um, and those are sad memories to have of a childhood. But Christmas was the one day, and I look forward to Christmas all year long. Okay, so first of all, my birthday is in December, and my mother tried really hard not to mix my birthday with Christmas. So I was never one of those who got, this is your birthday and Christmas present. Um, she made sure that I had Christmas presents and birthday presents separate. And my mother and my grandmother really, they tried very hard to make sure that the three kids had a fantastic Christmas. And it was um, me, I was the oldest, I am the oldest, my brother, and my little sister. My little sister's not too little anymore. I mean, she's in her 30s, late 30s. And yeah, so, but I remember the way our house was set up, um, our bedrooms were all on the one side of the house, and there was a long hallway where the stairs came up, and then there was a landing, and then it turned, and there was a really long hallway with doors on either side for the bedrooms, and at the very end was the bathroom. And so we would get up as kids and we would come down that hallway and, wait for mom to say, okay. And we'd come around the corner to the top of the stairs and you could look down. And at the bottom of the stairs is where mom hung our stockings. And so we would look down the stairs and see that our stockings were filled and knew that St. Nicholas had indeed been there. Um, I mean, obviously, back when I still believed in Santa Claus. And, we'd rush down the stairs and turn that corner at the bottom landing, and there would be the tree with all the presents underneath. Um, and my family was not okay, everybody opened them all at once. They were, okay, you open one, you open one, you open one, then I'll open one, then you open one, then you open one, then you open one. So of course it took forever. The whole time, um, smelling the bacon cooking in the kitchen for breakfast, and we would go through all of our presents, and my grandmother and her second husband then would come in the afternoon for dinner. And so you had to leave all of your presents under the tree so that Nanny could see them when she got there. And you could show, Nanny everything that you got for Christmas. And yeah, I have one beard hair that's driving me crazy. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I see it, and it's making me nuts. I need to shave this beard down, and I need to shave, up here. I need to trim. But that's neither here nor there. But that's a mustache hair. It's not growing out of my nose or anything. Okay, guys, I just didn't want you to think. I didn't want you to think that the girl had some nose hairs growing out of the side of her face. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, those were probably the only good memories I have of childhood. because any vacation you took, any day trip you went on, anytime you would go to, the amusement park or the beach, there was always some kind of controversy and always some kind of yelling and screaming involved, and little Bobby getting blamed for something. Uh, my stepfather could blame me for everything. You know, my stepfather could blame me for anything from the assassination of JFK to world hunger. Okay, uh, anything that was wrong was always my fault somehow. It was my fault. Um, so yeah, so the rest of my existence wasn't all that keen, but I figure whose childhood was completely peachy keen. And if you say that your childhood was completely peachy keen, um, then you're fibbing. You're a fibber. Because there's something in everyone's life. There's something in everyone's life. Um, and so, with that being said, um, I do have nice memories of we would always get in the car on Thanksgiving night after everybody ate and took their little naps and everything. After it was dark, we'd always all pile in the car and go down and drive through Main Street of downtown, because Thanksgiving night was when they would turn the Christmas lights on the lampposts through town. They would turn on the Christmas tree lights that were down in town, and then we would ride up and down the avenues, looking at everybody's Christmas displays. I mean, because back then, um, electric was so cheap, and everyone over decorated their houses. Um, and everybody did it way before Christmas. You could see everyone's house decorated and lit on Thanksgiving night. So, that was kind of fun, and I always looked forward to that. Um, I did always look forward to going downtown, um, to watch them put up the Christmas tree. My mother would take us to watch them hoist the tree up in the air and set it in place. And it was always put up in the Acme grocery store parking lot. Or if you're from where I'm from, you called it the Acme. It wasn't Acme, it was Acme. Say it right. Um, so they would always put the downtown Christmas tree, and the Acme was right smack in the middle of Main Street. So it was the ideal place to put the tree, and so it would always be in the Acme parking lot, and they would put Santa's little house under the tree right there, where you could go and visit Santa. He would sit in his little house, and you could go up and talk to him and tell him what you want for Christmas. Um, and I remember as a kid that tree just looking so huge, and you could literally walk under the branches of the tree. Um, they built it up. They put it up on a really big stand, and then the tree was big, and they would trim off the bottom branches, and you could walk right under them and look up through the light lit tree. And I just always thought that was really neat as a kid. So yeah, so there's a couple more fond memories for you. Trying really hard to think of some, but I'm hitting the wall. Um, so yeah, guys. So that's my Christmas childhood memories. Um, Both good and bad. Um, and so I gotta go pee. So I'm gonna sign off because I gotta pee. Uh, so guys, be happy, be healthy, be safe. Don't get fleas. And I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Okay? I love you. I love you all. Have a good night.